The story opens in the small town of Tromaville, New Jersey. In this strange and polluted town, a young janitor named Melvin works at a local health club. His job is simple. He quietly cleans the floors while others focus on their workouts. Among the many people at the gym, 4 stand out, not because of their fitness, but because of their cruel behavior. Bozo, Slug, Wanda, and Julie enjoy bullying others, and their favorite target is poor Melvin. Day after day, they mock and harass him for no reason beyond their own twisted amusement. Bozo, especially, seems to hold a deep hatred for Melvin and never misses a chance to humiliate him. One day, when Melvin accidentally dips his mob into the swimming pool, Bozo seizes the moment. He lashes out at Melvin in front of everyone.
Look what you did, you fucking asshole!
Ridiculing him without holding back. As always, Bozo is overwhelmed by his own rage. He storms off in frustration, unable to control his emotions. Left behind, his girlfriend Julie continues the verbal assault, scolding Melvin even more harshly. Later, Melvin stands alone in a room, staring into a mirror. He sees nothing but weakness in his reflection, and quietly wonders why he is so frail. Meanwhile, Bozo, obsessed with his own image, begins exercising even more aggressively, determined to grow stronger, driven by vanity and rage. Since Slug and Wanda are a couple, she asks if she can join him that night. She excitedly shares a news article about a series of brutal hit-and-run incidents. Slug eventually agrees, and with a twisted grin, he explains their method. That same night, the 4 of them head out for their gruesome joyride. Inside the car, Julie explains the rules of their sick game to Bozo. She says different victims earn different points as children.
28 points, you can get both the kid and the bike.
And the elderly score higher. Soon they spot a young boy riding a bicycle. At first, they wave and smile to lull him into a false sense of safety. Then, they turn back and accelerate toward him. Without mercy, they slam into the boy with their car. The group erupts with laughter and excitement, celebrating what they see as a victory. But Julie notices something that angers her as the boy is still alive. Furious, she yells, and Bozo, already tense, loses control of his emotions. He throws the car in reverse and drives straight over the boy's head. Wanda and Julie step out of the car and rush toward the body to take photos of the horrifying scene. They admire their gruesome work, calling the pictures perfect. With no remorse, the 4 of them flee the scene, vanishing into the darkness. The next day at the health club, Julie gathers her friends and reveals a cruel plan to humiliate Melvin. She's confident it will teach him a lesson he won't forget. Later, she heads to Hall where Melvin is working. She gently touches him and pretends she wants to meet him in private. Melvin, completely unaware of her intentions, feels overjoyed. His face lights up with excitement, believing for once someone truly likes him. Julie then walks away, knowing she has trapped him perfectly. At the same time, outside the health club, a truck filled with barrels of toxic waste is parked nearby. The drivers, high on cocaine, take a break as the dangerous chemicals sit exposed and unattended. Inside the club, Melvin gets ready to meet Julie in the dressing room, but when he arrives, she complains that he isn't wearing a pink outfit. She insists she loves pink and gives him a pink tutu, claiming they need to match. She tells him she'll do everything he wants, but only if he wears it. Influenced by her words and desperate for affection, Melvin quickly changes clothes. He puts on the ridiculous pink tutu, not realizing he's walking into a trap. Feeling happy and humming to himself, Melvin strolls into the main hall. But the lights are off, and something feels off. As Julie draws him in and pretends to kiss him, the lights suddenly turn on. Melvin is shocked to find that he isn't kissing Julie but a goat. The entire gym bursts into laughter. Everyone is there, laughing at his humiliation. Crushed and overwhelmed with shame, Melvin panics. He runs out of the room as the laughter follows him like an echo. He rushes through the building, climbs to the 2nd floor, and leaps out of a window, falling directly into one of the barrels of toxic waste. The chemical burn spread rapidly over his body, causing intense pain. As he screams, the people from the gym gather outside, still mocking him, assuming he's just overreacting. But then, the horror becomes real. The chemicals begin to melt his skin, and panic sets in. Even the police arrive, but when one officer touches Melvin, flames erupt from his hand. Melvin, now partially on fire and consumed by agony, runs from the scene. His body is changing. He's no longer the same weak janitor they all used to laugh at. Back at home, Melvin locks himself in the bathroom. His mother knocks on the door, worried, but he doesn't respond. Inside, Melvin sits in the bathtub, overwhelmed by strange sensations inside his body. His skin bubbles, muscles twitch, and something powerful stirs within him. When he finally looks at himself in the mirror, he's stunned. His appearance has changed completely. He no longer looks like the weak janitor he once was. Outside the door, his mother misreads the silence. She assumes Melvin is going through adult experiences for the first time and feels happy that her son is finally growing up. But inside, Melvin is mutating into something else. His height increases, his body grows stronger, and his senses sharpen. Now, unable to face his mother or himself, Melvin runs away from home. That evening, in a nearby corner of Traumaville, a local criminal known as Cigar Face counts his money. He's trying to bribe a police officer to join his corrupt network, but the officer refuses as he's honest and won't take the cash. Furious, Cigar Face and his two thugs gang up on the officer. Then Cigar Face, living up to his nickname, burns the officer's face with a lit cigar. They beat him, disarm him, and shove his own gun in his face. The others laugh cruelly as they begin torturing him. But before they can go further, Melvin suddenly appears. He steps into the scene like a force of nature. With his mutated strength, he punches Cigar Face so hard, the officer watches in awe. Melvin unleashes his full power, thrashing all three criminals. One thug's nose is broken, the other loses both eyes. He defeats them quickly and violently. The surviving Cigar Face flees in terror. Melvin then turns to the injured officer. At first, the officer panics and faints, but when he wakes up, he realizes Melvin means no harm. Melvin calmly returns the officer's gun and baton, then vanishes into the night before anyone else can see him. The next day, the police officer addresses a press conference, surrounded by curious reporters. He explains how a strange monster saved his life and fought off three dangerous men with unbelievable strength. As the story spreads, news of the mysterious creature floods Traumaville. When the town's corrupt mayor, Bell Goody, hears about it, he's furious. He confronts the police chief, worried that his illegal operations could be exposed. After all, he's the one who sent Cigar Face to control the streets, and now things are spiraling. The chief admits Cigar Face had unfinished business, but was stopped by something beyond their control. Realizing that the creature might interfere with his dirty empire, the mayor decides that this monster must be eliminated. When Melvin returns home and knocks on the door, his mother opens it just slightly, but the moment she sees his mutated face and monstrous body, she screams in horror and slams the door shut, locking it. She doesn't recognize him anymore. Melvin stands there silently, deeply hurt and heartbroken. Her reaction cuts him deeply, and tears begin to form in his eyes. He stays at the doorstep for a moment, waiting, hoping she might open the door again, but nothing happens. No one comes. Slowly, he turns around and walks away. Later, Melvin finds himself sitting alone by the side of the river near the railway tracks. The sky is dull, the area deserted, and Melvin is lost in thought. He feels rejected and alone, with nowhere to go. Eventually, he wanders into an abandoned toxic waste facility nearby. The place is filthy and filled with broken equipment and rotting barrels. In one of the corners, he clears some space, gathers a few items, and creates a small shelter for himself. Using scraps, he sets up a makeshift room. He puts his mother's photo on the floor beside him. Lying down on the cold, hard ground, he closes his eyes and quietly falls asleep. A few days later, in a small local restaurant, people are enjoying a peaceful lunch. The atmosphere is light, and families are chatting, laughing, and eating. Without warning, 3 gang members barge into the restaurant.
All right, everybody, drop your tacos or I'll blow your brains.
They're loud, aggressive, and fully armed. Chaos begins instantly. Customers scream, dishes fall, and the staff freezes in fear. One of the gang members jumps onto the counter, grabs the restaurant owner, and puts a gun to her head, shouting for money. Another thug goes table to table, threatening the customers, pointing guns, and creating panic. The third gang member walks toward a young girl sitting with her friends. He leans down and begins kissing her on the cheeks against her will, laughing as she struggles. Her friends can't do anything. Finally, a man from another table stands up. He's nervous but brave. He tells the gang that they can take him instead and let everyone else go. He even offers them all the money he has. But the gang leader, Frank, doesn't care. He orders one of his partners to pull out the gun and shoots the man in the chest without hesitation. The man falls to the ground, gasping for air. People start screaming again. The restaurant is in full panic. Sitting nearby is a blind woman named Sarah. She's there with her guide dog. When Frank approaches her, her dog starts barking furiously. Sensing danger, Frank gets annoyed and orders the same men to shoot the dog. He fires multiple times, killing it on the spot. Sarah collapses to the floor, crying uncontrollably. She can't see what's happening, but she knows her dog is gone. Frank then begins to assault her in front of everyone. The crowd watches helplessly. No one is able to stop him. At that moment, the restaurant doors burst open. Melvin appears. He walks in, huge and menacing, and heads straight toward the thugs. Without a word, he grabs Frank by the arm and rips it off clean from the socket. Blood sprays across the room. Frank screams in agony. The crowd gasps. The remaining thugs try to fight back, but Melvin is unstoppable. One of them knows some martial arts and tries to take Melvin down with kicks and punches, but Melvin blocks everything with ease and throws him across the room into a table. The next thug tries to stop, but Melvin catches him, grabs his head, and forces open his mouth. He stuffs it full of milk, cream, ice cream, chocolate, and milkshake, pouring it all in until the man starts choking. He keeps pouring and then grinds it in the mouth of the man. His mouth bleeds and he dies on the spot. Another thug tries to crawl away, but Melvin catches him, drags him to the kitchen, and dips his hand into a deep fryer.
Please, no! You can't do this to me!
The man screams as his skin burns. Finally, Melvin turns back to Frank. He lifts the now armless gang leader and throws him inside the hot restaurant oven, slamming the door shut. Then, he calmly walks out of the kitchen and approaches Sarah. She flinches as he gets close, unsure of who he is. She tries to push him away, crying, but Melvin gently speaks to her, telling her he wants to help. At first, she's confused, but then she hears the kindness in his voice. She tells him she can't go anywhere without her dog. Melvin promises to stay by her side and help her. Slowly, she nods, trusting him. Together, they sneak out of the restaurant through the back door, leaving the chaos behind. Melvin drops Sarah off at her home. She smiles with relief and gratitude. For the first time in a while, she feels safe. Meanwhile, police arrive at the restaurant. Witnesses tell them about a strange, powerful creature who appeared out of nowhere and saved everyone. The cops are confused but note every detail. Later, as Sarah gently touches Melvin's face to understand what he looks like, he stops her. He tells her his face has acne, but Sarah calmly says that it doesn't matter. Then she asks Melvin if she can hold his hand. She tells him that by reading his features, she can sense more than just appearance. Melvin hesitantly offers his hand. She feels the shape of it and begins to smile. She tells him that she can sense incredible power inside him. She says his life is about to change, and he's going to become someone very important. Elsewhere, reporters gather and question a scientist about the identity of this mysterious hero. The scientist explains that after analyzing the bodies Melvin left behind, they discovered the hero was formed through exposure to toxic chemicals. These chemicals transformed him, giving him superhuman strength and the instinct to fight evil. That's why he always appears when danger is near. Meanwhile, at the health club, a drug dealer is delivering a supply of narcotics to customers. In a private massage room, he gives his cut to the corrupt mayor. The mayor tells him to stash it there. After that, the dealer uses the drugs himself and begins working out in a frenzy. But suddenly, Melvin walks into the club. People scream and scatter at the sight of him. Everyone runs except the dealer, who is too focused on his workout to notice. Melvin walks up to him and attacks. The fight is quick. Melvin smashes him with brutal strength, killing him on the spot. Later, in a quiet area known as Sweet Valley, Melvin tries to urinate and free himself, but then a car pulls up. A man steps out and offers to sell him a young girl. He's a human trafficker. Disgusted, Melvin grabs the man. Several others jump out of the car, armed and ready to fight, but Melvin doesn't hesitate. He takes them down one by one using his strength and rage. None of them survive. Once the fight is over, Melvin gently escorts the young girl back to her home, making sure she's safe. The next morning, Bozo and Slug drive recklessly through the streets again. Just as they are about to hit two children crossing the road, Melvin appears out of nowhere and quickly pulls the kids to safety. He saves them just in time. After this, Melvin starts focusing on small good deeds across town. One day, he notices an elderly woman trying to cross a street. He gently helps her reach the other side safely. She thanks him with tears in her eyes. As these good acts increase, people start noticing him more. Children especially begin to admire him. They design and print t-shirts with his image and name, wearing them proudly in parks, schools, and markets. People cheer when they see him. They talk about how he's changing the town, how he's like a real-life superhero. But this popularity becomes a threat to the mayor. His illegal operations are falling apart. His partners are either arrested or have mysteriously disappeared. Drug deals aren't running. Bribes aren't coming in. Angry and desperate, the mayor orders Cigarface and the rest of his thugs to take care of Melvin once and for all. The men head toward the town with guns. As soon as they spot Melvin, they open fire. But Melvin doesn't get hit. In the chaos, he causes them to accidentally shoot at each other. Later that day, Sarah is crossing a street when a group of men surround and harass her. They make crude remarks and start grabbing her. She quickly screams for help and calls Melvin her boyfriend. Just seconds later, Melvin arrives. His sudden appearance terrifies the men. They back off and run away without looking back. That evening, Melvin and Sarah return to their hideout. They sit close, smiling. Sarah starts cooking and makes Melvin a delicious stack of pancakes. He eats them gratefully. She watches him with affection. Soon, Sarah decides to stay with him permanently. She moves into the abandoned home. They decorate it together with simple lights and old furniture. Music plays on a dusty radio. They hold hands, dance, laugh, and enjoy their quiet world. The next day, Julie enters the health club's changing room. She is unaware that Melvin is approaching her. Without warning, Melvin enters and grabs her neck. She struggles, screams. Hearing the noise, other girls rush in. Julie manages to escape their attention and runs. She rushes to the basement, but Melvin follows. She runs down dark hallways, searching for a door, but all exits are locked. Panic rises in her chest. She cries, breathless, and finally locks herself inside a room. But Melvin doesn't stop. He smashes the door, steps in slowly, and attacks. He kills her right there. The next day, Bozo and Slug are waiting for Julie as they have planned to go on another cruel adventure. But Bozo is stressing out because Julie doesn't appear, of course, due to Melvin. Both of them stand together, and they end up taking a car from an elderly woman who happens to be nearby. They don't just steal the car, they kill the old woman right there, and then forcefully take her vehicle for themselves. Both of them become extremely happy after that. They laugh and feel proud while they drive away. Then, as soon as they begin searching for a new target to attack, Melvin suddenly appears in front of them out of nowhere. Then Melvin climbs right on top of the moving car. Bozo, now terrified, immediately increases the car's speed, trying hard to shake him off. But no matter how fast the car goes, Melvin holds on and doesn't let go. Then he reaches into the car through the window and grabs Slug by the neck. He starts choking Slug, pressing harder and harder, and finally throws him out of the speeding car by his throat. Slug's body crashes violently onto the road, and he dies instantly. Right after that, Melvin turns toward Bozo. He grabs him and begins hitting him again and again. The car, now completely out of control, goes off the road and starts crashing into everything it passes by. It hits poles, signs, fences, and random objects. Then finally, Melvin tears the steering wheel off completely. Bozo begins to cry and beg for his life. He apologizes over and over again, pleading with Melvin to spare him, but the car keeps speeding forward, now completely directionless, and suddenly crashes into a high place. The car flips, rolls over, and catches fire. In just a few seconds, the entire car is burning in flames. Bozo dies right there in the explosion. Melvin, on the other hand, comes out of the burning vehicle completely safe and unharmed. He walks away slowly and disappears from the scene. Later, the next day, the short woman involved in the human trafficking gang shows up at a local laundromat. She's only there to get her clothes washed. But Melvin also arrives at the same time. Without warning, he grabs her and pushes her directly into the washing machine. He turns on the machine and lets it spin with her inside. Then he pulls her out, places her face onto a hot iron plate, and presses it down hard until her face is completely burned. She dies right there on the spot, in the same laundromat. When the news of her death reaches the authorities, the whole town begins to buzz with the update that the monster has killed another person in public. But this time, it is innocent women, as no one knows about the women human trafficking business. That night, Melvin returns home. He finally gathers the courage to tell Sarah the truth. He tells her that he is the same monster who has been fighting crime and saving the entire city. But now it's becoming harder and harder for him to stop killing. He confesses that something inside him keeps pushing him to destroy evil people, and he's scared that one day he might lose control and hurt someone innocent, maybe even her. Sarah, shocked and unable to say anything, remains silent but remembers that Melvin once talked about a quiet farmhouse. She suddenly feels that the farmhouse might be a safe place for them now. Melvin listens and agrees. So, the next day, both of them pack their things and leave the city. They quietly walk together, leaving everything behind, heading toward the peaceful farmhouse far away. The next day, inside the mayor's office, all the important people are gathered together. They are having an emergency meeting because this time, Melvin has killed an innocent-looking woman. Everyone is shocked at first, but then the police chief finally speaks up and tells the mayor that, in reality, the woman was not innocent at all. She was actually involved in human trafficking. She used to sell children and was deeply involved in criminal activities. Upon hearing this, the mayor quickly stops him and strictly tells the chief to stay quiet. He warns him not to discuss such details with anyone under any circumstances. The mayor insists that they must finally get rid of Melvin once and for all. Later, when the mayor holds a press conference, he listens to questions from all the news anchors. Then he makes a public statement
He's definitely a menace, Miss Fink.
saying that Melvin is not a hero. He says Melvin is a dangerous monster who is now becoming a huge threat to the entire town. The mayor claims that investors are starting to pull out and people are getting scared. Businesses are getting affected. The mayor declares that from now on, the police chief has full authority and total power to capture Melvin as soon as possible. He tells the media that the entire police force will now focus only on finding Melvin and taking him down, no matter what it takes. After that, the police chief arrives at the police station. He gathers all the officers and tells them that they are going to capture Melvin and kill him. But many police officers hesitate. They try to explain that Melvin is actually a hero. He has saved many lives, including the lives of several police officers. But the chief insists. He tells them these are direct orders from above, and they all have no choice but to follow them. Then, one of the police officers goes to an ice bar and meets with some local people. He tells them that they are planning to kill Melvin soon. But the workers there, both adults and children, react strongly. They disagree. They say Melvin is not a monster and he is their hero. He always helps people and protects them from dangerous criminals. Soon after, the police force moves out with their dogs and gear, forming a full patrol unit to find Melvin. While they are out searching, they finally spot Melvin. He is out there camping peacefully with Sarah. As soon as the chief hears this, he informs the mayor immediately. The mayor doesn't waste a second. He calls the National Guard right away and asks them to send military forces. He tells them this is urgent and that they are going to kill what he calls the monster. The National Guard agrees. Very soon, military vehicles and soldiers start arriving in the town. Troops begin moving in, preparing to capture or kill Melvin. All the people in town become extremely tense and worried when they see the army arrive. They don't know what the army plans to do to Melvin. They are scared that Melvin might get hurt or captured, so they want to protect him at all costs. The townspeople quickly gather together and unite in their concern for Melvin's safety. Outside the camp where Melvin is staying, many police officers stand with their tanks and guns ready, forming a strong line to guard the area. Behind the police, a large crowd of ordinary people gathers. They hold sticks and other items in their hands, watching the tense scene unfold, anxious and hopeful. Just then, the mayor arrives at the camp. When he steps out in front of the crowd, the people start shouting. They demand that the mayor and the police do not harm Melvin. They call Melvin their savior and protector and beg the mayor not to take any action against him. But the mayor refuses to listen. He insists loudly that Melvin is not a hero, but a monster. He says Melvin is a danger to the whole town and must be stopped immediately. At that moment, the chief announces that Melvin must come out of the camp and surrender. The army soldiers quickly prepare their tanks and weapons, ready for battle. The tanks are positioned carefully and soldiers hold their rifles tightly, waiting for Melvin to step outside. Just then, Melvin appears out of the camp with Sarah by his side. The crowd watches nervously as they come forward. At the same time, Melvin's mother and many children from the town come out too. They stand in front of Melvin protectively and speak loudly. They tell everyone that before anyone tries to hurt Melvin, they must kill them first. They promise that they will not let anything bad happen to him. The whole town stands united around Melvin, ready to defend him from harm. But Melvin firmly pushes everyone back, raising his voice slightly to make it clear that no one should come closer. He insists that nothing will happen to him, that he is prepared to face whatever comes. The crowd hesitates, watching Melvin's calm but strong demeanor. The police officers, seeing his confidence and knowing his history of protecting them and the town, lower their weapons reluctantly. The tension in the air slowly eases as the army soldiers also begin to lower their guns, recognizing that Melvin is not a threat, but a protector. His reputation as a guardian of the town is well known, and even the armed forces respect him now. Suddenly, the mayor, desperate and enraged, starts shouting and demanding that Melvin be captured immediately. He tries to rally the police to arrest Melvin on the spot, but the officers, loyal to Melvin and aware of his true character, refuse to follow those orders. The mayor's face turns red with anger, but the police remain firm. Melvin steps forward and begins to confront the mayor physically. Melvin's strength surprises everyone. Despite the mayor firing bullets at him repeatedly, none of the shots manage to harm Melvin in any way. Melvin keeps advancing, pushing the mayor back step by step. The mayor's arrogance fades quickly into fear as Melvin corners him. Realizing that his threats and money cannot save him, the mayor's voice becomes shaky. He starts begging for forgiveness, pleading desperately for his life. He promises to give Melvin 10% of all his earnings and swears he will never bother him or the town again. Melvin listens silently but shows no mercy. Instead of accepting the mayor's apology or promises, Melvin delivers a powerful, precise strike to the mayor's stomach. The blow is so strong that it rips open the mayor's intestines, leaving him gasping and writhing in pain on the ground. The crowd falls silent, shocked by the violence, but also understanding that this was the consequence of years of corruption and harm the mayor caused to the town. Melvin stands tall, his mission clear, to protect the town and ensure no one like the mayor ever threatens it again. The mayor dies right there on the spot, and seeing this, the people feel a great sense of relief and happiness. They believe that finally, Melvin has removed a dangerous threat from their town and will send the mayor's corrupt influence away for good. After this, Melvin walks over to Sarah, who is still weak and unable to see clearly because of her condition. Melvin gently holds her and begins to show his love and care for her in a tender way. The whole town watches this moment, feeling hopeful and inspired by Melvin's kindness and strength. Slowly, the people start clapping and cheering, expressing their joy and support for Melvin and Sarah. The atmosphere fills with happiness as the town finally feels safe and united again.